On a morning meant for celebration, a crowd stood frozen before a raging fire, watching silk and lace twist into ashes as the flames roared. A piercing scream shattered the air. Years earlier, Edna was only 10 years old when she was taken from her quiet village to live with Aunt Kike. Her parents were gone, and the woman was the only family she had left. Edna held her small bag tightly as she stepped into a new home, her heart full of fear and hope. Aunt Kiki smiled warmly that day. "You are welcome here, my child," she said kindly. Aunt Kiki already had a daughter, Amara, who was 6 years old. At first, the woman treated both girls equally. They ate from the same pot, slept under the same roof, and shared the same chores. To Edna, it felt like she had found a second mother. As time passed, the girls began to grow, and their characters became clear. Edna was calm and gentle. She greeted elders politely and helped without being asked. She spoke softly and carried herself with respect. Even when she was tired, she never complained. Amara was different. She was stubborn and quick to anger. She often refused to help and caused trouble in the house and around the village. When corrected, she would shout or cry. Still, Aunt Kiki loved them both and defended Amara often. "She is only a child," she would say. For a long time, peace lived in the house. Then one afternoon, Aunt Kike went to the market. She walked with a basket on her head, tied from the sun, when she slowed her steps near a group of villagers talking loudly. "That Edna is a good child," one woman said. "So respectful," another added. "She behaves better than many grown girls." Someone laughed. "As for Amara, she causes trouble everywhere she goes." Ankika stopped walking. Her hands tightened around a basket. She did not speak. She did not argue. She simply listened. And in that moment, everything changed. When she reached home, she looked at Edna differently for the first time. Her smile was gone, and jealousy had found its way into her heart every time someone greeted Edna kindly or praised her good behavior. Aunt Kike felt a sharp pain in her chest. The words she heard at the market played again and again in her mind. That Edna is a good child. Amara causes trouble. Edna did not notice the change at first. She continued her chores as usual, fetching water, sweeping the compound, and helping in the kitchen. She greeted Aunt Kike respectfully every morning and evening. "Good morning, Ma," she would say softly. Aunt Kike would nod without answering. Amara, however, noticed everything. Whenever Amara misbehaved and Edna tried to correct her gently, Aunt Kiki would turn sharply on Edna. "Leave her alone," she would snap. "Who made you a mother?" Edna would lower her head in silence. As the years passed, the difference in treatment became clear. Amara was allowed to rest while Edna worked. Amara was defended even when she was wrong. Edna was blamed even when she was innocent. Yet Edna never complained. Instead, she became even more respectful. The villagers noticed her kindness and spoke well of her wherever she went. Some even said, "Any home Edna enters will be blessed." These words burned like fire in Aunt Kike's heart. She began to believe that Edna was stealing her daughter's shine. One evening, after Amara broke a clay pot, Aunt Kike shouted at Edna angrily. "You are the reason my daughter is always compared to others," she said. Edna's eyes filled with tears. "Ma, I did nothing wrong." Time passed. The girls grew into young women. Edna became graceful and beautiful, with a gentle spirit that drew people to her. Amara grew proud and jealous, often copying Edna but never changing her ways. Then one day, a visitor came. He was from a respected family and came to ask for Edna's hand in marriage. The news spread quickly through the village. Women sang, elders nodded in approval. Edna bowed her head in shock and gratitude. Aunt Kike forced a smile. "Congratulations," she said, though her heart was boiling. That night, while everyone slept, Aunt Kike sat alone, staring into the darkness. Her mind was made up. If Edna thought she would find happiness in this house, she was wrong. And in her heart, a wicked plan began to grow. Edna noticed the coldness. "Ma, have I offended you?" Edna asked one evening, her voice gentle. Aunt Kike looked away. "Go and finish your chores." Edna obeyed, her heart heavy but her respect unchanged. Wedding preparations began quickly. 2 wedding dresses were delivered, one for Edna, the bride, and one for Amara, who would stand beside her on the wedding day. The dresses were kept in the inner room, wrapped carefully, and placed side by side. Each night, Aunt Kike entered that room quietly. She stared at the dresses, a jaw tight. Why should Edna be praised, she thought. Why should my daughter stand in her shadow? As the wedding day drew closer, the house filled with songs and laughter. Edna helped everyone with joy, even those who had hurt her. She thanked Aunt Kike daily and prayed for peace. But Aunt Kike prayed for something else. On the night before the wedding, when the moon was high and the house was silent, Aunt Kike rose from her bed. She wrapped a cloth around her head and crept toward the inner room. Her heart pounded, not with fear, but with determination. She lifted one of the wrapped dresses carefully. The fabric was soft and beautiful, glowing faintly in the moonlight. "This will end everything," she whispered. She stepped outside into the quiet compound, struck a match, and held it close. The fire caught quickly. Flames rose high, swallowing lace and silk. The smell of smoke filled the air. Aunt Kike watched until nothing was left but ashes. Satisfied, she returned to her room before dawn. In the morning, Amara went to the room where the dresses were kept and found her dress missing. My dress! My dress is gone." Aunt Kike staggered backward. Her legs felt weak. Her heart beat wildly in her chest. She had planned to destroy Edna's happiness, but the fire had taken her own daughter's dress instead. Edna stood quietly at the edge of the crowd. She said nothing. Her eyes were full of confusion, not joy. She looked at Aunt Kike with concern instead of blame. The elders arrived quickly. Amara began to cry loudly. "Who would do this to me?" she shouted. Aunt Kike's hands trembled. Sweat formed on her forehead. Her secret was closing in on her. Edna stepped forward. "Please," she said gently, "there is no need for shouting. Let us stay calm." Her calmness only made Aunt Kike feel worse. An elder turned to Aunt Kike. "You are the head of this house," he said. "Do you know anything about this?" Aunt Kike opened her mouth, but no words came out. The groom stepped forward and faced Aunt Kike. His voice was calm but firm. "I heard everything last night," he said. "I could not sleep, so I stepped outside. I saw someone carrying a dress. I did not know who it was then, but now I understand." Gasps filled the air. Aunt Kike covered her face and began to cry. There was no place left to hide. "Yes," she confessed, "it was me. I burned the dress." Amara screamed. Aunt Kike bowed her head in shame. "I allowed jealousy to poison my heart. When people praised Edna and spoke badly of my daughter, I felt anger instead of wisdom. I wanted to destroy Edna's joy." The elders shook their heads sadly. Edna softly said, "Ma, you took me in when I had no home. I will not repay your mistake with hatred. I forgive you." Amara burst into tears. She knelt beside her mother. Mama, your jealousy has shamed us, she cried. But it has also shown me the kind of woman I must never become. The groom turned to Edna and smiled gently. This is the woman I choose, he said, one who answers wickedness with kindness. A new dress was quickly delivered. Aunt Kike did not dance that day. She sat quietly, watching Edna walk with grace and dignity. For the first time, she understood that love does not grow through comparison or envy. That night, she apologized again, this time with a clean heart. And Edna? She left the house not with bitterness, but with peace. Jealousy destroys families and blinds the heart. Gossip can poison love if we allow it to. Good character will always shine, even in darkness. And kindness, when given in return for evil, is the strongest victory of all. If this story kept you entertained, please subscribe to Tales African by Mary. Tap the notification bell so you'll be the first to receive every new story. Tell us in the comments, what do you think about today's story? And don't forget to share it with your family and friends. Till I come your way again, stay blessed.